Good morning everybody, this is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. Today I'm going to create some cards using my card candy kits that I sent out in the month of March to my customers. If you subscribe to my newsletter and if you purchase with me or stamp with me or play in my card candy challenge, you receive a card candy kit each month to create a card. So in March I sent out designer series paper samples from the Eclectic suite, that's the Naturally Eclectic designer series paper, and I tied in some ribbon and coordinating paper. So today I'm going to create some cards using some kits that were left that didn't go out in the mail, and I'm just going to go through showing you how I paired the papers with some different stamp sets to make some fun and easy cards. So we're going to start with the gem paper because I really like the gem paper. Now I've already cut out from the Eclectic set the two diamond shapes because I want to use that on my card, and I had a leftover oval in my scrap bin. So this paper is has a gem tone side on one side and this blue wash on the other. And as you can see, I've stolen out of that green piece this happy birthday framelit that I'm going to use on a different card. So, always remember that if you're going to use a mounting piece, if you have another project with coordinating colors, you might want to steal a framelit or something out of that to conserve some of your paper. So I'm just going to layer up these base layers. So I'm putting my gem tone onto my Emerald Envy, because that's a coordinating color in the paper. And then I'm just going to mount that right to the front of my Whisper White card base, and I've stepped this in about 1/8 of an inch on each layer. So there's just a little bit of white peeking around the edge. Just wanted that kind of framed. Okay. And then usually if I cut my paper and I've got some of the scrap, I use it as a border or a trim. So I'm going to put that on. So that's just the back side of that designer series paper. Okay, now this gem, the set that coordinates with the paper is this Eclectic set, and in this set we have framelits that match the flowers, but we also have some extra pieces to use. So I used the diamond and the outline of the diamond to create this little blue diamond to use, and I did it in the coordinating blue color from the paper. Okay, so I'm going to use my fine tip glue, and hopefully it's going to work for me this morning without any trouble. Good. So, clean off the end of that tip there. It's got some glue stuck on. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on a couple of spots there, and then I cut out a full one to back it, because I want it to look a little more solid. So I'm just going to let that dry for a second. So now I'm going to bring in the Emerald Envy ink, because I had ended up using the Emerald Envy for the mounting color. And I'm using a stamp from the Thankful Thoughts set. This one says, "Sending thanks to a very gracious giver." I'm going to stamp that on my oval. So see, I'm keeping with all the colors in the paper, so I can use different colors, but I'm keeping them all kind of the same. So I have that to go on as a tag, so I'm just going to snell that on. Oh, let me finish closing up the glue so I don't have trouble later. Got to get that pin right in the neck of the glue bottle so that it doesn't close up on us. Okay, so like I said, I'm putting the tag down. And do you see how I place those words kind of right with that band? And then I'm going to pop up this little diamond, another reason to back it, because I got a solid back now, and I'm just going to put that right there as an embellishment. So easy peasy, right? So there's our first card from the Card Candy Challenge. Okay, so let's move on. So like I said, I stole a happy birthday framelit out of that Emerald Envy piece, and I decided to tie it in with this piece of paper. I love these dots, so I have to use those more. And as you can see, I stole that blue diamond out of this base. Okay, so again, that's going to be hidden behind there, so no one's going to know I've stolen it. So if you have a designer series paper pack with coordinating colors, it might be fun to just cut a bunch of it up with coordinating colors and then steal some framelits and layer them up and see how many different cards you can make. Okay, so now here's this. Now this is a piece of Emerald Envy ribbon that is retired, but when I do my card candy challenges, there are no rules. You can use retired items. You can also use non-Stampin' Up items if you want to. So I'm just going to wrap that behind, come around and wrap this behind. I'm just tacking that on there. Now there's no reason to have that long tail back there. It's too short to really do anything else with, but I don't need all that bundle. So there's that. Now this time I'm going to pop the whole thing up on dimensionals, I think. And I'm going to cheat and put my dimensionals right over those ribbon tabs. That'll help me re-secure them for sure so that they don't decide to pop out later. Like a second security there. Okay, so now I'm putting that on the front here. Just like that. Oh, I don't know why that piece is in there. Alright, so there's that. And then, like I said, I stole this happy birthday out of the other piece of Emerald Envy. So I'm going to put that on the top here. I'm going to use that fine tip glue again. This works really well with our thin imagery and our thinlits. Let's see if I can get this on without being too messy. So just going to do a couple of areas. I'm not worried about doing every part of it. Just kind of getting a little bit on there. Hold down our pieces. Then very carefully you're going to flip that over and then put it down. Now I could put it down square on my card like this. I think I'm going to tip mine a little to the side. Okay, let me close up my glue again. And then I've tied, with the second piece of that retired ribbon, I've tied one of my bunny ear bow knots. And I'm just going to put that on with a glue dot on that bow below. So, bring that in, give it a little stick there on the glue dot, if I can get it to adhere. There we go. And so, I'm just going to put that here, and voila, we've got a second card out of all that coordinating paper. Okay, pretty simple. Alright, so let's keep going. Alright, so here's another piece. This time I'm using Peekaboo Peach and Old Olive as my coordinating colors. Now I've cut from the Oh So Eclectic set 2 of these flowers and 1 of the leaves. Okay, so I didn't do any stamping, I just cut from the framelits. And let me show you, I stole the leaf from the oval and I stole the flowers from my Peekaboo Peach. So once again, we're just going to layer these up and hide where we've cut those from. So this is going to go on my Peekaboo Peach. And I'm going to layer up my, actually I'm going to stamp on my oval first. Can't remember, oh right, Thanks. I was going to put Thanks on there. So that's also from the Thankful Thoughts stamp set. So I have my Peekaboo Peach ink here. So I'm going to stamp Thanks on my tag here. And then I'm going to also, I have this band that I cut off of my paper there. I'm going to stamp some imagery from the Oh So Eclectic set. Just give this a little bit of stamped texture going down. Okay, so now I'm just going to layer up all my pieces. So I've got my white tag. I'm going to put some on the edges there since I don't have a center. So that hid where I stole that leaf out of there. This band is going to go down the side here, so like a paper ribbon. Okay, nothing too difficult there. Then I'm going to add this tag on top. There's my sentiment. Okay, then I'm going to use glue dots to add, I've got the leaf, so I'm going to put a glue dot behind my leaves there, put that on. I could tuck that behind, but I'm not going to worry about it. Then I've got these two flowers. Now, a key with these flowers, if your centers, all those little pieces in there are there, be careful when you peel it off so you don't pop them. So I'm going to put this one there, and then I'm going to overlap the second one with that. So I've got flowers on my flowers, and then I think that whole piece I'm going to pop up on dimensionals as well to give that a little bit of lift. So really, just with a lot of paper and a couple of sentiment stamps, we can come in and make beautiful cards. So now this piece, I also had a long piece of this left. I'm going to line the bottom of the inside of my card with that. So I'm just going to run this strip. Actually, I'm going to step it up a little bit. So I've got a little bit of edge at the bottom, and then I've got these two tails, so I'll just flip it over and give those a quick trim. Okay, so now our inside of our card has a little bit of razzle-dazzle as well. Alright, so there's 3. Alright, so let's keep going. I've got a couple more I have cut that I want to show you. This time I've got the Berry Burst ribbon and cardstock. I have a piece of vellum here that I'm going to stamp on, and then we have this fun piece of designer series paper with all these like arrow looking things, and I think this was probably meant to be in here. We'll see about that. Okay, so this time I'm going to put this on the bottom, and I wanted to do like a window card on the top with some stamping. So let's do the stamping piece first. Let's see how it works. So I decided to use the Beautiful You stamp set for this one. I'm using the lady with the umbrella and the Wishing You Brighter Days to Come. So I'm going to stamp in Memento because I want it to be crisp and clean, and I want it to dry as quickly as possible. If you weren't in a hurry like I am on the video, you certainly could stamp in your archival and let it sit and dry. Remember, when you stamp on glossy or stamp on the vellum, it takes a little time to dry. So now I've positioned my stamps so that they're going to fit on my piece of vellum underneath, and I've lined that up on my grid paper so I know everything's going to be square because it's hard to see that vellum. And I'm stamping that down. I'm going to try to peel that off. Okay, good. So now, as you can see, I'm going to put this piece on my card, and then because we can see snail through the vellum, I'm going to overlap my bottom piece just a little to hold that into place. Pretty sneaky, huh? Alright, so let's see, get this to dry a little bit. While that's drying for a minute, let's go ahead and put our liner piece on the inside. Now I could have done the pink side, but I'm going to go with those arrows again. I think that's cheery. So there's the inside. And something else I thought I would do is come in with the Berry Burst marker and add some color to this stamped image. I think I'm going to color the umbrella and leave the lady in black and white. Now I'm still a little bit wet and I don't want to pick up that ink, so I'm actually going to color on the back side of the vellum. I'm going to try really hard not to smear that ink as it's drying on the other side. So this is a nice trick with vellum. If you stamp on the one side, you can color on the back side of it. The color won't be as vibrant, but it also won't pick up that black edging if it's still drying. So it's kind of a nice cheat with vellum that you can do. Another thing you can do with vellum, I'll have to do it on a different card in another video, is after you stamp something, if you come in with your stylus, you can scratch the vellum and it'll kind of raise it up like an embellishment and give you a fun white lake. So see, I've got that on there, so that just gives that umbrella a little extra pop. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some snail. So again, I'm just going to add the snail to the very bottom of this piece. I could put a glue dot behind that umbrella now that I've colored it. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just putting this on. Now I'm being careful not to touch that ink because I know it's still wet. And I'm going to add this piece to the bottom. So that's going to cover up where I put the snail on there. See? Hides it right behind there. And then I'm going to snail this whole piece to the front of my card. And again, I've stepped this in from the edge of my white card, so I have a white border. Just kind of frame the creation. Okay. Now if this bothers you that it's lifting, go ahead and put that glue dot behind. Now I've tied a bow out of the seam binding in the Berry Burst color, and I'm just going to add this to the base here. So kind of a cheery looking card to brighten someone's day, right? Even if it's not a bright day for them. But there we go. Alright, so I have one more card to do. This one is with Lemon Lime Twist. And this is this fun polka dot paper. Flip side is a green. So I'm going to do that. I'm working with Vellum again. So I'm going to be stamping on Vellum. Now, you might not do this, you might stamp it first, but I'm actually going to adhere it down. So in the end, I've decided that these two layers are the same size and they're going to get put on my lemon lime. And then I'm going to put a ribbon around, so where this ribbon goes is where I'm going to snail underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and snail my vellum to my DSP, and then I'm going to stamp on top of it. So now I'm kind of doing that for positioning purposes, but if you feel better about stamping your image first on your vellum and then putting it all together, you can do that. Okay, so because it's springtime, yes, let's believe it's springtime, I'm going to be using a Hostess set, Tranquil Tulips, and I'll clean off some of the space here. So I've got stems and leaves, and I've got two sizes of tulips here. So here's the Hostess set. You can get this through the end of the current catalog. Okay, and I'm going to stamp on the vellum. Now, I went to look up, seeing how this paper has Emerald Envy, Lemon Lime Twist, Soft Sky, and Night of Navy in it. I went to look to see if any of those colors were tulip colors, and I found that you can dye tulips, any color you want, and that they tried to create a blue tulip and didn't have much success. They created purple tulips instead, but I'm going to stamp blue tulips today. So, let's see, I need green for the stems. I was going to use Lemon Lime Twist, but I didn't bring it to the table, so I guess I'm not. I'm going to use the Emerald Envy that I have here. Okay, so I'm stamping the stems first. And let's see, not too high because I want the flowers to show. Okay, so there's my stems. Now I'm going to stamp in the lighter blue. So this is the Soft Sky. I'm going to stamp the larger tulips, and because they're photopolymer stamps, I can see through. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty light color, so you're not going to pick up too much of it until I add the detail. Alright, so I added two big and one small. So now I'm going to come in with the Night of Navy, and I'm going to add the detail over the top. Let's hope I position these somewhat on top. Good. So that helps see them a little bit. So there we go. We've got our two-tone flowers in that fun little Hostess set. Now I'm going to come back in and add some of the leaves. I've got a pointy leaf here. Make that go up. And I like that these leaves are kind of watercolored. They kind of have a misty center. And then we got one here that has that little crooked neck on it. I think that's fun. Alright, so that'll be enough leaves and stems. So now remember I stamped on vellum, so it's still kind of wet. I'm going to close up these ink pads so I don't get ink where I don't want it. Sometimes that's a good way to do that. Alright, so now I'm going to bring in my card. So I'm going to put that on the lemon lime. And I'm going to wrap this around. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it right around the lemon lime. So I'm going to go ahead and snail this to my mounting piece. So I've got a frame on that. Okay, now I'm going to wrap the ribbon around. I only need enough behind to kind of tack it down. So I'm going to go ahead and snail the whole edge because I'm going to put it on my card when I'm done. And then I'm just going to put this around. Now remember, I snailed the vellum on first, knowing that the ribbon was going to go down here. So that's hiding my adhesion before. Okay, so now this is going on the front of my card. Stepped in a bit. Okay, and I'm being careful to rub where the adhesive is, but not rub over that ink that's still drying. And then I have this extra piece, so I'm going to slide that under, and I'm just going to tie a bow knot. Okay, and this finely woven has a nice body to it, so it holds its shape well. Okay, and I can slide that along to reposition it a little bit. There we go. And I didn't put any words on that one, so you could really use it for any kind of card. I do have a piece of this paper left from scrap, so I'm going to go ahead and line the inside of that card with that at the bottom as well. I think that's just a fun little surprise when people open a handmade card. And there we go. So those are my creations for the card candy kits that I sent out last month using the Naturally Eclectic papers. So I hope you enjoyed the way I paired them off with some other sets, and maybe you try one of these fun little stamping techniques, coordinating paper and ribbons, and then the vellum stamping and whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed today. As always, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can usually find a new video here on YouTube, and if you subscribe to my newsletter, it'll be on my newsletter next week. So, hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys who made the kits last month enjoyed them as well. And if you didn't do them yet, get them out. Make some cards. Have fun. So, I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful day and do some fun stamping. Alright guys, bye-bye.